This is Josiah Plays The World of Lone Wolf Gamebooks. This is Book 3, Beyond the Nightmare Gate, of the Greystar series. You are the wizard Greystar, chosen hero of an ancient magical race, the Chianti. To find the Moonstone, source of all Chianti wisdom, you must venture beyond the Nightmare Gate. Dare you enter a realm of mystery, a world of gods and demons? For somewhere in this twilight region is the secret of the Moonstone. Only you can find it, and with its power throw down the evil Sazerac and save mankind. Your journey will take you across the gray plains of the Neverness, past the dark enchantments of the Crystal Tower, and on towards perils undreamed of. Armed only with the wizard's staff and the magical spells of the Chianti, you must step into a nightmare world where only the bravest will survive. Dun dun dun. Hashtag mild perils. How is the Moonstone the source of all Chianti wisdom when the Chianti created the Moonstone, presumably using their wisdom? I don't know. World of Lone Wolf, guys. We're, Pat and David, whoever you are, this one's for you. Now, we've read of the coming of Greystar twice now. It's always exactly the same. So we're not going to read of the coming of Greystar. We understand this part. If you're watching this and this is the first video you're watching, or the first stream of this, you should really watch the other parts first. But this we will read. The story so far. You are Greystar, trained in the ancient lore of a Chianti wizard. For 16 years you have dwelt in safety on the Isle of Lorne, the hidden realm of the magical Chianti race, until Akaria, High Wizard of the Chianti, decides to send you upon a dangerous quest to save your own people, the race of man, from the tyrannical Witch King of Shadakai, Sazerac. Held by their ancient vow to the goddess Ishir, the Chianti are unable to leave their island, either to come to the direct aid of man, or to retrieve the Moonstone, which possesses the combined forces of all Chianti powers and lies hidden on another plane. As a human, no vow prohibits you from leaving the island, and you have been sent to recover the Moonstone and commanded to use its power to defeat the Witch King. The Moonstone is hidden on the Daziarn plane, which can be entered only by finding one of its portals. Your quest begins with the search for the Shadow Gate, a doorway to the Daziarn that never remains in one place for longer than a day and is invisible to the human eye. To help you find the Shadow Gate, you must first seek the lost tribe of Lara, a race of magical but primitive creatures called the Kundi, who possess the gift of astral vision, enabling them to see the gateways to other worlds and dimensions. On first arriving at the port of Soon, the major trading post of the Shadakeen Empire, you are befriended by Shan Li, a merchant who serves as your guide through these strange and foreign lands. A short while later, you are captured and imprisoned in the House of Correction, the prison of Soon and citadel of Mother Magri, a witch in the service of Sazerac. Tanith, a young girl learning the ways of witchcraft, comes to your rescue. She helps you escape from the dungeons of Mother Magri, and later sacrifices herself, calling the Shadow Demon, the Cleasa, against her to save you from its attack. After many more adventures, you come, at last, to the Azanam, the treetop home of the Kundi. They give you Urik the Wise, an old Kundi shaman, to guide you to the Shadow Gate. The two of you cross the dangerous lands of the Shadakeen Empire, pursuing Urik's vision, which leads you, finally, to the forbidden city of Gyanama, in the mountains of Morn. Beyond is Desolation Valley, and there you find the Shadow Gate, However, it is guarded by one of Shasarak's many slaves, a demon Cleasa. In fact, the very Cleasa that captured Tanith, who stands in the gateway, eternal prisoner of Shasarak unless you can free her. Finally, you discover a way of releasing the Cleasa and opening the gate. Bidding farewell to Uruk, you prepare to enter the gate. Alright, who's ready to enter the gate? We're going to enter some gates. Empire's name is unfortunate, as it sounds like Shat Akai, i.e. what the giant bird does after eating a Kai Lord. Yeah. Alright. We don't need to know about the game rules. We don't need to know about magical powers. We've already done all that. We've already got our powers. We've already got our equipment. We know about the rules for combat, thank you. I'm always going to roll a 7. That's how it goes. You are about to begin a quest of utmost importance and terrible danger. Beware, for you enter a world quite different from the one you leave behind. Here, even the natural laws are strange, and you will need all your wits and cunning to survive in this alien world. You will find items that might be of assistance. Some special items will help you on your quest. Others may be of no use at all. You must decide what to keep. Be cautious in your use of willpower points, as your willpower is the energy source for your magical powers and your wizard's staff. A willpower score of 0 or below will leave you weak and vulnerable to attack, unable to offer effective resistance. Follow the path of wisdom, Wizard Greystar. The way of fools is the road to destruction. Or just randomly picking the wrong thing at a choice where you have no idea what either one is going to do, and then you just instantly die. Is also the road to destruction. Actually, just starting to play this book is the road to destruction. Alright. Section 1. You gotta pick up every stitch. Season of the Witch King. Nice. Tanith takes you by the hand, and you step forward into a tunnel of swirling mist. As the outline of the Shadow Gate fades behind you, you gaze at your new surroundings. Horrified, you perceive strange shapes and pale faces writhing within the tunnel wall. The faces stare at you vacantly, mouthing indistinguishable words, and you walk along the tunnel to a barrage of murmuring voices, muffled cries, moaning, and sobbing. Tanith looks at you, but says nothing, the terror in her eyes mirroring your own. Such a place could drive a man insane, you say, quietly. The two of you walk faster into the unknown, your hearts pounding with anticipation. Finally, the tunnel opens onto a vast plain of white cloud, suspended beneath a sunless sky. Stepping onto this twilight plain, you notice that the light of the sky casts no shadow, and disappears into absolute blackness above your head. Looking down, you can see no solid ground beneath the cloud, which somehow supports you. Like the Shadow Gate before, the tunnel of mists fades away, and you find yourself staring out across the bleak silence of the Daziarn. Scanning the distant horizon, you sight the outline of a building. Tanith tugs your arm. Look, she says, pointing away to the left. You follow the direction of her outstretched arm to see the hunched figure of a man gliding slowly across the plain. You say quietly in your best little finger impression. Head toward the building or question the man. Well, we can't just not talk to an NPC. You know what I'm saying? 122. Your life and your quest end here. You guys ready? Uh-oh, look at this guy. This guy's like Azar. He's got his, his dodgy, rigged up bag and... The hunched figure is dressed in gray rags, and the flesh of his hands and face is almost transparent. You head across the cloud plain towards the hunched figure. The man turns and looks at you, apparently unsurprised by your sudden appearance. He is dressed in gray, tattered rags, and, with a start, you see that the flesh of his hands and face is almost transparent, revealing the veins, bones, and tissue that lie beneath his skin.
No peace, no peace,
he mutters to himself.
So many interruptions. The passage of strangers, asking directions and breaking the silence.
He gazes at you with a sad but steady stare.
I am Dreer, wanderer between worlds,
he says, as if reciting a litany.
Sailor upon pointless seas, traveler of timeless lands, born of a world grown old and tired. You are in the neverness, my children, the unformed and unclaimed void of the Daziarn, where no one yet resides.
What of yonder building? You ask.
The Crystal Tower, home of the academicians, scientists and scholars from another plane. They are mad, my friend. Do not waste your time with them. Instead, follow me and find peace in the calm of wandering. Shed all purpose and responsibility.
This is what I did in real life.
Come, follow. I seek the salvation of silence, the tranquility of endlessness.
He beckons insistently, and, with a glazed expression, Tanith steps forward. Persuasive, inviting, and increasingly irresistible, Dreer's hypnotic voice pulls at your mind. Okay, if you go to 81, you're just asking for your life and your quest to end here. Fuck no. Taking Tanith by the arm, you make to move away. Dreer is working a subtle magic, an enchantment that is hard to resist, and Tanith has already succumbed to his power. She failed her will save. I guess I'll use sorcery. Dreer is working a subtle magic on your mind. Closing your eyes, you concentrate the power of your will, and, at the cost of 1 willpower point, summon the magical energy of the astral plane. But your power of sorcery appears to have no effect. Thanks, Deaver Page. Perhaps Dreer's magic does not obey the same laws as your own, and is beyond your control. That was a well-spent fucking willpower. Quasi-mythal hacks. Alright, I'll resist his call without the aid of magic. I don't feel like I should just start wizard staffing fools. Tanith takes a step towards Dreer, her mind bewitched by his enchantment. You resist the power of his call, using the strength of your will, but you expend 2 willpower points before Dreer's spell is completely banished from your mind. With an anguished cry, Dreer suddenly vanishes. Rah! And Tanith regains her senses with a start. I was almost his to command, she comments, breathless and frightened. Come, you reply. To the Crystal Tower. We are sure to learn something of the Moonstone there. Already fucking my willpower is getting sapped. Scandalous. Scandalous. Alright, we're turning to 50. Hastily, you walk across the plain of clouds, crossing the Neverness and gaining on the crystal tower, which gleams faintly with a strange light. The tower is built from great shards of black crystal, and its design is entirely alien to your eyes. Pretty much looks like a crystal tower. It's a tower, it's made of crystal. That's why we call it the Crystal Tower. Where the Cytos of this world dwell. The Crystal Tower looms larger as you draw nearer, its buttresses, balustrades, and cornices jutting at impossible angles. Some of the tower's ornamentation seems to disappear completely when looked at from certain directions, as if parts of the tower do not belong to this dimension at all. You also notice that, with growing frequency, the cloud plane is perforated with black holes of various sizes. Black holes? That sounds pretty serious. Of course those words are all real. Oh man, investigating a hole is such a terrible idea. It's such a terrible idea, you guys. But how can I not, right? Completionism. There could be a unique item in that hole. Fuck it, I'm doing it. Would you like to lick the hole? You walk over to one of the black holes, situated close by. Peering in, you can see only an absolute, impenetrable blackness.
Perhaps these too are gateways,
suggests Tanith. The silver bow could be in there, goddammit. I'm gonna prophecy on this. You close your eyes and search the future with the power of your thought. Your power of prophecy tells you that the black gap in the clouds contains a fathomless void, but reveals no more. The use of this power has cost you 1 willpower point. That was fucking useless. Thanks, prophecy. Hashtag thanks, prophecy. I'm pretty sure 269 is your life and your quest end here. I'm putting my hand in the hole. Here comes some endurance points taken off. You kneel down and reach, tentatively at first, with your hand into the strange black gap in the clouds. Your hand totally disappears, and you hastily withdraw it. You are unharmed. It is almost as if your hand had left this realm. Well, we have to see what happens. Predictable, really? You pass through the hole into total darkness and begin to fall. You try to scream, but can make no sound. You are doomed to tumble forever in eternal silence through a realm of nothingness. Your quest ends here. Well, yeah, I mean, that one you knew it was going to go that way. There was a reason. This was reasonable warning. Let's go back to the tower. Eventually, you find yourself standing before the tall tower. Its strange black walls glow with an eldritch quality that is both fascinating and unnerving. You can see no door to the tower, but just above head height, there is a metal plate. Inscribed upon the plate are some strange symbols.
What does it say?
Asked Tanith. I do not know. you reply. It is written in a language that I do not recognize. Yet even as you speak, the symbols on the metal plate change, and you find that you can read the inscription after all. I am just comprehending languages here. From south of here, to west and north, then east and south once more, a circle's motion rings the charm that finds the vanishing door. South, west, north, east, south, west. Yeah, that's just a complete circle. Left side, right side. But is there any conceivable way to know on which side? You ponder the strange words, trying to determine their meaning. A riddle? Queries Tanith. Any way to know which way is south? That's the thing. Do I even have psychomancy? I do. Well, prophecy is usually garbage. I feel like using psychomancy. You approach the wall of the tower and lay your hands upon its smooth surface. You concentrate, and eventually, a verse appears in your mind. There is no door. You must climb the tower, or smite the wall with a wizard's power. Search for doors, climb the tower, examine the crystal wall immediately below the metal plate, attack the crystal with your staff, or use prophecy. Let's examine. Examine's always a good option. You examine the section of wall just below the metal plate, but discover nothing. There is no sign of a concealed door, hinge, or seam. We're climbing the tower. This is gonna go well. Feeling a little apprehensive, you attempt to gauge the height of the tower. It stands at least 30 meters tall. The climb will be arduous and dangerous. I'm going to try to climb it, you say to Tanith. Do you think you can make it? She shakes her head doubtfully. Of course I have adventurer's rope. Of course I have a rope. You fasten one end of the rope around your waist and hand the other end to Tanith. When she has secured her end of the rope, you hand her your wizard's staff and backpack, since you will need as little encumbrance as possible while you attempt the difficult climb ahead, but I really need her Sardic's boots. When I reach a ledge, you say to Tanith, I'll try to haul you up. She nods, a look of concern etched into her pretty face. Be careful, Greystar. Taking a deep breath, you begin the ascent. Random number time. If I possess a silver charm, I don't. If you possess the Talisman of the Chianti, I do. Well, I always roll a 7, so my total is 6 to 11. The tower wall is smooth and sheer, and the climb extremely difficult. Your progress is further impeded by the illusory nature of the tower. Crevices and projections that make up the strange designs that ornament the tower sometimes disappear from view just when you reach for a handhold. Eventually, you complete the climb and find yourself crouched upon a narrow ledge halfway up the tower. How is that completing the climb? I'm only halfway up. Now you must attempt to haul up Tanith, still standing below. Alright. 5 to 11. You shout down to Tanith. They're making you do a lot of random rolls. They're just hoping you'll fail one of these and they can fuck you. You shout down to Tanith and she prepares to climb. Taking a deep breath, you haul on the rope, dragging Tanith towards you. She does her best to scramble up the tower, but the weight of your backpack and the encumbrance of your wizard's staff make climbing very difficult for her. Soon she is on the ledge beside you. Another 50 feet remain to be climbed, and you must repeat the process to reach the top of the tower. Alright, 6 to 11, go. You begin the arduous climb once again. There are many intricate decorations carved on the crystal wall of the tower that make your climb harder, but your skill is great and your luck good, and with a sigh of relief, you eventually reach the top. Pausing for only a moment to catch your breath and rest your aching limbs, you then begin to haul on the rope as Tanith scrambles towards you, and she is soon at your side. You turn to survey your new surroundings. We made it. Luck doesn't have shit to do with climbing a wall, though, I can tell you that. Having fucked around with a little bit of rock climbing on a climbing wall, I can tell you that, like, you can either do it or you can't. You get to a point where you literally just can't. And luck, there's no luck. You couldn't, oh, lucky me! Lucky me! My muscles started clearing fucking lactic acid faster than normal. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no random element. It's 100% on your capabilities. Random number generator luck with wall climbing. Oh. Right into some random fight. You are standing on the battlements of the Crystal Tower. You see a skylight, and, with Tanith following, you enter a dark room. Two cold, black eyes watch your every move, as cautiously you advance into the room. A slight sound from above causes you to glance at the ceiling, where a hideous, leathery-winged creature is preparing to attack. There is no time to evade. You must fight this creature to the death. Alright, combat skill is 21. Ours is only 19. That means we're starting off at a -2 ratio, which isn't good. That means if I'm just rolling my 7s, I'm going to take 2 damage each round and do 8 to him. He's got 28 endurance. So I'd have to fight him for 4 rounds on my 7s, which means I would take 8 damage. But if I use a... Oh, I have to use 1 point of willpower anyway, right? So if I use a 2nd point of willpower, now I'm blasting him for 16. So if I fought him for 2 rounds, I'd be using up 4 willpower and taking 4 damage. If I spend enough to kill him in 1 round, I'd have to spend 5. Alright, so that's my choice. Spend 5 willpower and take 2 damage, or spend 4 willpower and take 4 damage. Willpower is not just growing on trees. So I think I'm just gonna fight him the 2-round fight where I use basically 1 multiplier willpower per round, which will kill him in 2, and I'll end up taking 4 damage. So willpower goes down by 4. Endurance goes down by 4. Turning to 250. Splendid! Splendid! says a cheerful voice. You spin round to see a little fat man, dressed head to toe in a black gown. He claps his pudgy hands together and smiles happily. Look at this little guy. He's even got glasses. Suddenly a gnome. Who are you? You ask, still breathless. I am Spittlethrift, scholar, professor, and master of the Crystal Tower. Yes, yes, a tower of learning, a veritable pillar of wisdom and knowledge. Indeed. He takes a pair of wire-frame spectacles and places them on the end of his smudge of a nose. You are not alone, I see. He squints at Tanith. Most pleasing, enchanting. Yes, yes, well done. Do you really have to start creeping on my friend immediately, bro? You have passed the test. You will suffice. He turns towards the door and flutters his hands in an agitated manner. Come now, you must meet the rest of us. Oh yes, delightful, engaging, so wonderfully entertaining. The excitable little man leaves the room, still chuckling to himself, and you follow close behind. Soon he ushers you into a dim room, which is dusty and full of cobwebs. The air is stale and thick with tobacco smoke, and seated opposite in a large armchair is a thin, straggling man, roughly Spittlethrift's height, with bulging, shadowy eyes. I feel like this is Kaleem the Weasel, turning this dude into a fucking cow. Reclining in various positions around the room are several others, all approximately Spittlethrift's height, and all similarly dressed. Gentlemen, gentlemen, we have guests, brave adventurers, who have solved the complications of our dark abode. May I introduce? He casts a questioning glance in your direction, and hesitantly, you say, the wizard, Greystar, and the lady, Tanith. Yes, yes, Greystar and Tanith, Spittlethrift repeats unnecessarily. He turns to face you. And we are the academicians. Welcome. He bows politely, as do the remaining scholars in the dingy room. After shaking hands with more than 20 academicians, all with very curious names, you are led from the room to Spittlethrift's study. There he explains to you the cryptic nature of the Crystal Tower and the academicians' purpose on the Daziarn Plain. I skipped all the horrible traps to the tower. It's because I got skills. We are scholars, my dear boy, says Spittlethrift. Inventors, scientists, inquisitors of the unknown. Here on the Daziarn Plain. It's too bad I don't have a camera, because you guys really need to be able to see all the body language and everything I'm putting into this. We have been able to turn our dreams, our ideas, our very thoughts into reality. It is the nature of this place. Time, space, the fundamental laws that govern existence in the material world, all can be adjusted, altered, ignored even. That is why we choose to live here. Others have changed their world within the Daziarn to suit their purpose. The demons and devils of good and evil reside here, creating their surroundings as best it suits them. There are gods in their ilk, and stranger forces beyond all imagining. Their thoughts, hopes, fears, and intentions weave the fabric of their realms. We do not seek to dominate or master the realm we inhabit. We live only within our tower. The Neverness, the unformed cloud that surrounds us, is the fabric of the Daziarn, unclaimed and untainted. It is this that we use for our experiments.
You mean the black holes that surround the tower? You inquire.
Yes, yes, Spittlethrift replies.
But why is the tower so dangerous?
Ha ha! Says Spittlethrift. Let me assure you that it is not for our simple amusement, nor is it due to a malicious dislike for visitors, that our tower has been built to test the cunning, the wits, the wiles, and the bravery of those who dare to enter.
And those who fail? Asked Tanith scornfully. What happens to them?
Tittering intensifies. For real. The little man clears his throat uncomfortably, dismissing Tanith's question with a wave of his hand. No matter of importance. You have succeeded. You've triumphed. You have proved yourselves capable of fulfilling a great quest.
I'm already upon a quest, you say. I have no time for another.
Well, that is what you think, my boy, says Spittlethrift. But you've yet to understand. You are in the Neverness. The Neverness leads nowhere. Borders on nowhere is nowhere. Without our help, you will never leave it. Embark upon our quest, and we will grant you the means to travel freely about the Daziarn. Refuse, and you will remain here, perhaps forever. What's up, Shadzar? How you doing? This is very far from ASMR. But we were doing D&D stuff earlier. I just didn't change the stream title. I appreciate that, Stream Cop, though.
You threaten me,
you say menacingly, rising to your feet. No, no, splutters the scholar hastily. I merely state the facts. The Neverness is a wilderland between the realms of the Daziarn, but it does not connect the realms as the mountains, seas, and roads in your world do. We, however, have found a way to travel to the realms, and can grant you the means to do so if you would perform a simple task for us.
You say nothing, and Spittlethrift goes on.
There is a place, a city of glass, called the Singing City, inhabited by a race called the Ellison. We wish you to journey to the Singing City and steal the Threno gem from them. There's always some kind of weird gem. It is a stone said to emit music and control the emotions of all who hear its melody. The Ellison have put it to evil use. We merely wish to explore its powers. You will be helping the enslaved and furthering our search for knowledge. Please, will you help us, Greystar? Oh boy. I don't want to do this, but I feel like I need to do this. Well, prophecy has massively failed us every single time. Not every single time, but prophecy's usually been pretty bad, so I don't know if I want to use it. I don't think I'm going to use prophecy. Well, I'll help him. I don't care. Hashtag I have a quest. Hashtag I'm getting a quest. If Spittlethrift speaks the truth in saying that you cannot leave the Neverness without the aid of the Academicians, then you have little choice. Tanith flashes you a look that says, I do not trust him. But you can only shrug a reply. You agree to steal the Threno gem from the Ellison of the Singing City. Good, good. Marvelous, in fact, says Spittlethrift joyously. Come with me to the laboratory. You are led to a high-ceilinged chamber lit by a curious pulsing light. Gem of spooniness, right, Nox? The room is filled with strange, ornate machines of gleaming metal. Lights flicker, and you hear a throbbing hum and a continual, metallic, mechanical ring. Several academicians tend the machines, pushing buttons and pulling levers, though to what purpose you cannot guess. Greystar, Tanith, allow me to introduce you to Crabkey, one of our greatest and most ingenious inventors. Alright, we've got another fucking weirdo here. What's up, other weirdo? You recognize the shabby man who turns to greet you. He was the man who sat in the armchair when you first entered the chamber of the academicians. In the strange, lurid glow of the laboratory, his shadowed, bulging eyes make him appear even more sinister than before. We meet again, you say, uncomfortably. Crabkey stares at you without speaking. Spittlethrift breaks the silence. Mr. Crabkey is the inventor of the machine that will enable you to journey to the realm of the Singing City. Aren't you, Crabkey, old chap? Crabkey continues to stare at you insolently. With a slow blink of his huge eyes, he makes an unintelligible sound in the back of his throat and nods. Oh yeah, this plan does sound delightful. This is exactly the kind of machine I want to trust my life to. Yes, yes, says Spittlethrift half to himself. Come now, young wizard and pretty Mistress Tanith. Come see his wonderful creation. Mounted on a small dais in the center of the laboratory is a most unusual machine. This, says Spittlethrift proudly, is the Ethitron, the flying machine that will carry young Greystar through the realms of the Dazion and to the Singing City to fetch our prize. Greystar, says Tanith suddenly. And what of me? Spittlethrift falters and emits an embarrassed cough. Oh, yes, well... Yes, what of Tanith? You demand angrily. The girl... Oh, it's that guy. The girl stays here, says Crabkey, speaking for the first time in a harsh, rasping voice, to make sure you keep your part of the bargain and do not fail to return. Oh, he will be perfectly safe, I assure you. Perfectly safe. Dude, I don't like this. I don't want to leave Tanith with these fucking creepers. Says Spittlethrift apologetically. But surely you understand our position. What is to stop you flying away and never returning? And if I refuse? You snap at Spittlethrift. We will not allow you to use the Ethitron. It will show you how to fly it, retorts Crabkey. You'll be doomed to remain within the Neverness for all eternity. You will... You will, on the other hand... Spittlethrift interjects hastily. Receive the Ethitron as a gift from us when you return. With the Threnogem. Crabkey interrupts once more, ignoring a glare of warning from Spittlethrift, who has now begun to sweat profusely. And we will return Mistress Tanith to you, of course. He finishes. Tanith clenches her fists and glares furiously at the two little men. Both step back a little from her fiery gaze. That guy Shadgar messaged me to let me know that he reported me for scams, spam, and other malicious content, misinformation, misleading metadata, intentional miscategorization. Okay. Wow. Some people in this world, seriously. You're a real hero there, Shadzar. doing the work of the people. It is ridiculous. Especially if, when you look at the VOD of this stream, you will see lots of D&D related content in that VOD. And fucking streamers forget to change their stream title all the time. That's absurd. Intentional misinformation. Yes, I'm trying to trick people. I still haven't changed it, though. There is no category for what I'm doing. You know what? No, I'm not going to let him win. Category fucking stays as it is. Alright, where are we in this book? Where are we? Both step back a little from her fiery gaze.
Know this, little man,
she hisses, prodding Spittlethrift in the chest with one long-nailed finger.
I am not without power. If you seek to deceive us, I'll crush you like the toad that you are. I am a Shadowkeen witch, not a mere girl to be hoarded or bartered like a piece of spare luggage.
Yes, of course, says Spittlethrift, wiping his brow with the back of his shaking hand. I understand. Why the fuck is Spittlethrift so nervous? I don't trust anything about this situation. You smile quietly to yourself. Yeah, I was just thinking of that guy. That guy that followed me and called the cops in his little van or whatever, car or whatever he was in. You smile quietly to yourself. Tanith's angry bluff has shaken both Spittlethrift and Crabkey. Though Tanith does possess many uncanny powers taught to her while in the service of Mother Magri, a powerful witch in the service of the Shadowkeen Empire, her skills lie chiefly in her mastery of animals and nature, and in a bravery that surpasses many warriors of greater stature. So she's basically Radagast. Tanith turns to you, the fire dying in her wild green eyes.
Accept their offer, Greystar, she says. I do not fear this overfed worm, or that slinking weasel.
You sense that Tanith is far more afraid than she admits, but the success of the quest is as important to her as it is to you, and without the Ethetron, it is unlikely you will succeed.
Very well, you say. Show me how the machine works. What must I do?
Sullenly, Crabkey shows you the machine. I hope I get to kill these people. I just want to come back and kill these people. Spittlethrift, pale and perspiring, remains silent for once, his chubby hands fluttering nervously at his side. So much fluttering. Oh, I'm starting to drop frames like a mug. My kilobytes per second is going down and up, down and up, down and up, dipping into the red on occasion. Still seems okay? Okay, that's good. Look at this spoony flying machine. This is like the HMS Spoon. The Ethetron is quite unlike anything you have seen before. It has a railed platform and is shaped like a saucer, except that its stern is pointed like a lizard's tail. It bears a large glass dome in the center. Passing through the top of the dome is a single black shaft like the mast of a sailing ship. A single sail resembles a giant bat's wings and is made of a strange material. It shimmers like water and looks like metal, but is like fabric to the touch. A closer inspection of the glass dome reveals that it contains a swirling gray-white mist. No wonder why they want you to keep the Ethatron, right?
It is the raw stuff of the Dazion, unformed power for the craft,
Explains Crabkey.
Without it, the craft would fall from the sky. To steer,
He continues.
you must operate this lever. Pull to climb, push to dive, left and right as normal. To draw more power from the glass dome, you must press this metal bar at your feet. To slow down, release it. If you apply no pressure, the craft will remain where it is. If you push the lever to the left or right without power, the craft will spin on its axis.
Really? Yeah.
Beware, these controls are very sensitive. You need to apply very little pressure to make the craft change its course.
Yeah, we don't want Shadzor here for I click to link. That'd be a bad day. When Crabkey is satisfied that you understand the controls, he introduces you to another Academician, Slypate, who hands you a shining sphere of red and yellow metal.
This is a gyronome. There's no north, east, west, or south in the plane of the Dazion, nor is it time as you perceive it,
Says Slypate.
The only way of finding the singing city is with the aid of this device. When you draw it out, it will emit a sound if you're headed for the singing city. The louder the note, the surer your course. To return to the Crystal Tower, the gyronome must be absolutely silent. It is very accurate. I invented it myself,
He says with pride. You take the special item and place it in your pocket. Gyronome. I still have that gold tooth. Yeah, find the invisible cow, right? Soon you are ready to leave. The Academicians offer you the choice of the following items to aid you in your quest. Alright, we already got a short sword. And a sheath. We already got rope. Oh, we'll take that potion of healing, though. Wait, do I still have the Book of Shasarak? Nobles collected, still 0. That's right. And a spear. As you climb into the Ethatron, the massive double windows of the laboratory are drawn open. The restraining ropes are untied and the glass dome of the flying machine glows with a ghostly light. You coax the Ethatron forwards, and you glide gently through the open windows and out of the Crystal Tower. You look out across the bleak, featureless expanse of the Neverness, with its strange, sunless sky and vast plain of unending cloud. You press lightly on the footbar, and the machine gathers speed. You take out the gyronome. It is silent at first. Then, as your machine speeds away from the Crystal Tower, it begins to emit a tone. Cow, 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 cow. You move the instrument around in the air, and find, to your surprise, that its tone becomes louder when you point it towards your feet. Psychomancy. God damn it. Cost of 1 willpower point. I'm already down to 30, you guys. This isn't going to go well. You touch the gyronome with your mind. The device is not magical, but mechanical. Reaching out for a trace of its previous owner, Slypate, you see a vision of the old Academician working on his invention with loving care.
There is nothing evil about the device. Why then does the gyronome point to the ground? Wow, that was really helpful. Thanks, magic. Let's fly lower. You push the steering lever forward, but due to your inexperience, you push too hard, and suddenly the flying machine lurches into a dive. Your stomach knots with fear as you plummet towards the ground with increasing speed. The shrill tone of the gyronome becomes a shrieking in your ears. Oh, I super didn't pay attention when they told us how to fucking operate this thing. I didn't think I'd really need to know. Well, this is probably going to lead me to death number 2. Let's just continue heading in the direction indicated by the gyronome. Boom! Death number 2. Called it. The Athetron hits the ground, smashing into 1,000 tiny pieces. You are killed on impact. A mercifully quick death. And your body is never found. Your life and your adventure end here. Alright. We're going to pull back the lever and decrease the pressure. Ha! Another kill! Ding! Deaths 3. You pull the lever back as far as it will go in an attempt to bring the craft out of its dive. But now you lack power, and the machine continues to gain downward momentum. You are too close to the ground to save yourself, and the Athetron crashes, killing you instantly. Your quest and your adventure end here. Quest and my adventure this time. Alright, it's gotta be this one then. Though dangerously close to the ground, the craft glides smoothly out of its dive as you pull back on the lever. Your heart is pounding, and, still shaken, you ease back the footbar once the Athetron is level once again. You are perhaps less than 20 feet above the ground, and you notice that the gyronome is piping even more loudly now that you are flying so low. Thus far, the Athetron has been your greatest foe. Yeah. In the distance looms the shadow of the Crystal Tower, surrounded by black holes, the result of the Academician's mining of the raw material of the Nevernests. How are you to reach the realm of the Singing City? Should you fly into the ground, as the gyronome suggests, or through one of the black holes of the cloud plane? Alright, I'm pretty sure flying into the ground is also a death. Let's go through a black hole. That could also be a death, though, so who knows? Skillfully, you maneuver the Athetron and align it with the nearest black hole. Taking a deep breath, your heart beating with anticipation, you plunge into the darkness of the unknown. First, there is silence, then fear. You fight back a rising wave of panic in the absolute blackness, absolute silence, absolute stillness. You cannot return the way you came. Wow. Okay. I'm going to chant the Chianti prayer of mind discipline to beat back the rising wave of madness that I feel engulfing my reason. Harmony. In the lonely terror of the absolute darkness, your voice is swallowed up by the fathomless void. However, the chant conjures fond memories of your gentle Chianti masters, and your fear swiftly subsides. You are gratified that even here, in this terrible limbo, the power and wisdom of the Chianti is still within your grasp. You regain 1 willpower point. Yes! You take out the gyronome. To your surprise, it is still emitting its familiar high-pitched note. You eating a lot of dairy today? That's good. You are further confused when you discover that the device continues to sound at the same volume wherever you point it. You depress the footbar. The mist within the glass dome begins to swirl, and its ghostly light grows brighter. But there is no sensation of movement, even with the bar pressed all the way down to the floor. You fear that you are stranded, becalmed upon an alien sea. A thread-like line of white light in the distance gives you fresh hope. Your flesh begins to tingle, an unpleasant sensation that seems to be drawing the strength from your body. Lose 2 endurance points. Oh, that's not nice. The horizon of white light thickens until it splits the darkness in two and yawns like an infernal chasm. Terrified, you hurtle towards the momentous shaft at an incredible speed. Same speed. Suddenly, within the space of a heartbeat, the white light horizon appears to turn inside out, its near and far sides interchanging. Then, with a lurch, you are hurled into a bright shaft and catapulted into a clear, sunlit sky. Wind rushes at your face, and the land far below is as green and fresh as that in your own world. Buffeted by the wind, you struggle to control the Ethetron as it rocks and reels wildly in the wind-torn sky. Still dazed by the experiences of the past few minutes, you cannot help but manipulate the control clumsily. I do have the Talisman of the Shanty, and I rolled a 7, so we'll go to 77. Yay! Lucky me. As you regain control of the flying machine, you begin to slow down. You make a rather bumpy landing in a field, but both you and your craft survive it unharmed. You take out the gyronome, and its shrill call confirms that you are now in the realm of the Singing City. Away to your left, and in the distance, the city glints beneath the warm sunlight. Suddenly, you notice several figures heading in your direction, though they are still far off. Cow, 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 cow! Do I want to hide, or just wait where I am? I'm waiting where I am. I want to speak with these figures. Tense with anticipation, you wait as the figures draw near. Each wears a short white toga. They have blonde hair and strange circular ears. As soon as they arrive, they begin speaking to you in a language you cannot understand. Their voices are soft and flute-like, and there is a lilting quality to their speech. These are Elessen, inhabitants of the Singing City. Excitedly, they chatter on, pointing at both the Ethetron and the sky. You soon realize that they wish you to go to the Singing City with them. You're gonna attack them with your wizard staff. That's fucked up. Yeah, we're gonna go with them. With smiling faces and much laughter, the Elessen leads you to their home. As you draw closer to the Singing City, you gaze in wonder upon the dazzling display of glass and fragmented light that gleams beneath the bright sun. Rainbows of color splash from the delicate spires, and splendid ivory towers that point toward the sky. Like the distant ringing of a million tiny bells, the music of the city reaches your ears. You hear the warm resonance of a shifting bass, accompanied by the pure, whispering harmonies as delicate as a breeze, and you are awestruck by the magnificence of the city. The Academicians told you that the Elessen are cruel creatures, but their city suggests a purity of spirit beyond any mortal imagining. There's their city. So splendid. You pass through the arched gateway of the city and walk along a long avenue of crystal paving stones. you are now the center of attention. Your clothes and appearance distinguish you considerably from the Alessen, and soon a great crowd surrounds you. Their faces are warm and welcoming, and you sense no danger. The press of the crowd carries you down the long avenue, and ahead you see a huge palace, more beautiful than the other buildings. Head towards it, the Alessen laughing and singing around you. Eventually you reach the bottom of a massive glass stairway that leads into the palace itself. Before the entrance at the top of the staircase stands an imposing figure draped in white and golden robes. You climb the steps, leaving the Alessen at the bottom. The man greets you. He has long golden hair and sparkling blue eyes and holds a jeweled crozier in his hand. He is the leader of the Alessen. With a welcoming gesture, the man ushers you into the palace. Any plan for the secret theft of the Threnogem is shattered, and you decide to allow events to run their natural course in the hope that an opportunity will soon present itself. With diplomacy in mind, you bow and follow the golden-haired man into the magnificent palace. I have a feeling like all this magnificence is hiding like a dark and terrible secret. The man leads you into a vast hall. Its incredibly high ceiling is supported by hundreds of transparent columns that contain a many-colored liquid. At the far end of the hall is a pillar of swirling light that illuminates a grotesque but lifelike statue of a child. See, this is getting weird. Ram the pillar. Ram that pillar. Palace of the Screaming God? Okay. Yeah, I'm getting a great feeling about all this.
Welcome, says a voice in your head, to the Palace of the Screaming God.
Instinctively you spin around to look at the man with the golden hair. He is a telepath, and since the language of the mind is universal, you are able to understand everything he says.
I am the guardian of the Threnogem, he informs you, and you are Greystar. Pray tell me, why have you come to the realm of the Alessen?
Immediately attack! Snatch the threaded... Oh, the gem is in the mouth. Oh, oh man. Saito would have to take this. I'm just gonna be honest. I give a fuck. You explain your quest in detail. You tell of the academicians who hold Tanith in the Crystal Tower, and of your need to give them the Threnogem. Patiently, the Guardian listens to your story without interruption, nodding occasionally. When you have finished, the Guardian tells you the true nature of the Threnogem and of the strange statue in which it rests. Patiently, he listens to you without interruption. Then, he casually disintegrates you. Here we go. We got a lot of telepathy happening here. A lot of telepathy.
This was once the realm of the demon, Steth Amon, master of sound. We, the Alessen, were created his slave singers, a choir of the damned, and long did we labor in his service. His was the music of dissonance, designed to drive his victims insane or to lure them with its enticements. Steth Amon would sow seeds of discord and glamour in the realms of mortals so that they would join him and then be doomed to lives of misery under his dominion. But we, the Alessen, conceived of a plan to overthrow him, for we desired the beauty of music, harmony, and the melody of a chord. We created the Threnogem, a tool of silence, for without silence there can be no true music. While he slumbered, We dropped the Threnogem into his open mouth and silenced him. Robbed of his power, the power of his mighty voice, he froze as you see him now. He gestures towards the statue beneath the swirling pillar of light. We built this place to contain him, and called it the Palace of the Screaming God. Each day we sing our song, giving force to the Threnogem, so that the Screaming God should remain forever silent. All our power is dedicated to this single act, for his was a great evil. If the Threnogem is removed, the Screaming God will be released. Those who have sent you upon this quest know not of this, or else they do not care. Perhaps they desire to free the Screaming God, or wish your death. However, there is a way for you to fulfill your bargain, and do us a great service too.
Yeah, another quest. Yet another bargain.
What is it you wish me to do? You ask. Take this statue with you, the Guardian replies. Take it in your flying machine and remove it from this realm. Give the statue, with the Threnogem inside it, to the academicians. Let them guard it as we have done. It would be just.
Oh, I like this plan. I didn't know this plan was an option. Hell yeah. And then those fools will take the gem out of the mouth and they get to deal with the fucking demon. To the delighted cheers of the Elessen, the statue of the Screaming God is carried from the palace and away from the singing city. Okay. It is taken to the grove of trees where your flying machine is hidden and loaded aboard.
Many thanks, Grey Star, says the Guardian. Today you give us our freedom. Is there some way we can repay you? I seek the moonstone of the Shanti, you say. Long ago they hid it somewhere on the plain of the Dazian, our name for the realms gathered here. Can you tell me exactly where it is hidden?
Alessi shakes his head.
I have never heard of such a thing, but there is one who surely might. In the realm of Paradox lives one called Oz-Namun, he of the mighty hand. He is wise and knowledgeable. Perhaps he will know. How may I find this realm of Paradox? My only guide is this.
You show the Guardian the gyronome.
And it can only guide me between here and the Neverness.
In before Screaming God can wake up during the trip back? Well, let's hope not.
Give this thing to me,
he says. He closes his eyes, places the gyronome close to his mouth, and begins to sing into it very softly. Hashtag NPC magic.
Now the gyronome will guide you, he says, though you may never return to the Singing City. I have changed the power of the device, so that it will seek the realm of Paradox instead of our own, and will still return you to the place you call the Neverness while it is silent.
Well, that's convenient. You basically reset the GPS.
I thank you,
you say, boarding the Ethetron.
Farewell.
To a chorus of joyful singing and the blessing of the Elessen, you carefully rise into the air with your perilous cargo. Once more you feel a strange tingling sensation as you leave the realm of the Elessen forever. It's time for ice time. So I sing ice time, it's ice time, ice time, ice time, ice time, it's for ice. Ice time, ice time, ice time, ice time, ice time, ice time. It is time for ice. It is time for ice. Alright, we're leaving the realm of the Elessen forever. You are back in the Neverness. The bleak, sunless sky and the unending plain of gray clouds stretches away from you. Note 27.
If you left your backpack, you now get... Okay. Soon you sight the familiar shape of the crystal tower and land the craft close to its door.
Spittlethrift, you shout. I have returned. Come, take your prize.
A window in the tower opens, and the face of Spittlethrift appears. He is ashen gray and trembling with fear.
Go away, he calls. We've nothing else to give you. The girl, she was not ours to give in the first place.
The fuck does that mean?
Singing constitutes a category change. Right?
It is I, Greystar, you shout. Open up! I've brought the Threnod gem as I promised.
The little man stares down at you, shocked and afraid.
But, he stammers, you have only just left. You are changed, so full of darkness, and this is not possible.
Let me in, you demand, or it will be the worse for you.
The window slams shut, and after a short wait, Spittlethrift throws open the door.
Is it really you?
He asks, incredulous.
What has happened? You demand, growing angry. Where is Tanith? Return her to me.
She is gone. You, or should I say, someone like you, was here but a short while ago. We could not understand the change in you. You had so much more power. We were afraid. We gave up the girl, even though the Threnogem had not been brought back to us.
After more questioning, you were able to piece together what happened while you were in the realm of the Singing City. It seems that someone who looked exactly like you, clad in a black robe, came to the Crystal Tower. He had an evil countenance and was able to master the Academicians easily. They gave up Tanith to the Black Wizard and he left. He had been asking questions about the realm of Paradox, and one named Oznamoon, a man with the mighty hand. It appears that he was on his way there. The Academicians say that he had no craft, but was able to travel the realms at will. Well, that doesn't seem good. My gyronome has been blessed. This is some hacks, Nox. Hurriedly, you drag the statue of the Screaming God from the Ethetron and reboard the craft. You pull her into the air, gaining height with all the speed you can muster. A tingling sensation tells you that you are about to leave the Neverness. You glance back at the Crystal Tower. A chilling scream reaches your ears. It grows louder and louder, and the tower begins to crumble. Suddenly you realize that you did not warn the... I forgot to warn them. Oh no. Suddenly you realize that you did not warn the Academicians of the peril of the Screaming God. One of them must have taken the Threnogem from the statue and freed the demon. There is now nothing you can do to help as you pass into the realm of I wouldn't help them. Fuck them. I'm glad that's what happened to him. Must be Sister and the other doppelgangers. Pass into the realm of Paradox. A sky blue sea with foam-crested waves rolls where the sky should be. Green hills and fields ripple and undulate like an ebb tide, and the Ethetron begins to rock violently. Mountains stand on their peaks, and towns and cities float haphazardly in the air. Night becomes day, and day becomes night in the blink of an eye. A huge fist rears up, poised to strike, and then passes through you like a phantom. The Screaming God ran the pillar. Very much so. All around you is the sound of crazed and forlorn laughter. This seems fun. Crazed and forlorn cities just floating haphazardly in the air and anything. So this is not an option. Like, do you want to use enchantment? It's like, if you have enchantment, you best turn there. So, I have enchantment. You are already well versed in the ways of illusions and enchantments, and although half the strange, chaotic sights are enough to drive a man insane, you are able to challenge the illusion and dispel it. And it didn't even cost me any willpower. Thank you. Was that section written by a guest writer that wasn't Ian Page or Joe Deaver?
What?
Booms a voice from above.
Who dares to challenge the design of the Chaos Master? Speak, petty mortal!
They were but illusions, Chaos Master. I saw the truth beyond them, you reply.
Truth is but illusion! Reality is but a mortal dream! What do you seek, dreamer?
I'm looking for a girl. Her name is Tanith.
Know this, mortal! You are in the realm of paradox. My realm. It is a world of possibilities and contradictions. None may find what they seek unless they pay the price.
What price? You ask.
My price. Will you pay it?
That's not enough information to go on. But sure. Wait. He is a Chaos Master. Maybe I should answer the opposite. I'm refusing. Let's see what happens. Your life and your quest end here. I ask no favor and will pay no price, you tell the Chaos Master.
So be it.
You killed him as Lone Wolf? Really? I think I vaguely remember some kind of Chaos Beast, and wasn't it like ludicrously hard? Like one of the hardest fights in all the books?
So be it, but you will never leave this realm until you pay the price.
There is silence. Where once there were myriad illusions and visions, there is now only a vast sea, which stretches endlessly below. Multicolored, writhing and rolling, it conceals fearsome half-shapes, and there is no horizon. Oh, thanks, prophecy. Here we go with prophecy being useless again. You enter a trance state and try to discover a future vision of Tanith, but you can find no trace of her. Your vision urges you on another course, to seek the one called Oz Namun, he of the mighty hand. Your destiny is somehow I already knew this! Your destiny is somehow linked with that of this man, and he will help you to find Tanith and leave this realm. Alright, I'll exert a willpower point to guide me to the realm where he is. Let's go. Wait, how have I used 2 willpower points? Alright, well, it says I've used 2, so whatever. You soon come to the dwelling of Oz Namun. He lives in a rough wooden shack within a circle of withered trees. Nearby, there is a vast pit of blood-red soil. You land the Ethetron and call out his name. You find Oz Namun sitting before his shack, staring at a tall mass of moist red clay before him. His gaunt face is full of sorrow, and he does not even look up when you approach.
So you have come, he says flatly. There he is, and he does have a very large hand. Working with clay. You knew I was coming, you reply, surprised. He's been here also. Your shadow brother, your dark self. There was a girl with him also.
I seek the moonstone of the Chianti, you state. Do you know where it is and how it may be found?
The sad-eyed man looks at you solemnly. There's a mountain. The Moaning Mountain, it's called. In the side of the mountain is a cavern, and at the end of the cavern is a gate, from this realm to the next, a place known as the Vale of Peace. The people of the Vale are wise and friendly. They will show you the way to the hidden realm of the Moonstone. Here, take this map of the Moaning Mountain. He gives you a cloth map showing the location of the cavern. It's a special item which you carry in a small pocket inside your robe. Map of the Moaning Mountain. Seriously? Alright. But first, you must leave this realm and save the girl. You nod your head. Well, you will have to bargain with the master. You look puzzled, and the man explains, all who come to the realm of Paradox may ask for a gift from the god, and if it is within his power, he must give it. But beware his bargains. He has many cruel gifts such as these. Oznamun raises his hands, and you look at them with horror. They are the hands of a giant, and are grossly out of proportion with the rest of his body. Once, I was a great sculptor, and in my home realm of Melador, I was respected by all. But I hungered for greater success. I took up the company of a mage, and one night we summoned the Chaos Master together. His spirit came easily, for the realm of Melador and the realm of Paradox are joined. I told him that I desired the greatest hands in the world, that I might make the greatest sculptures in the world. He said he could grant me my wish on condition that I remain in his realm until completion of my first work. I agreed, and as soon as I was brought here, I discovered that my hands had been transformed. However, they were not as I had wished. They were clumsy, rough, fit only for digging clay, not shaping it. I've never made another piece. He curls a huge hand into a fist and punches the shapeless mass before him. Beware the bargains of the Chaos Master. He is a malevolent god. The Chaos Master is a dick.
What does he want with the girl, Tanith?
You ask. Well, he will bargain with her also. Tells you that you can summon the Chaos Master by calling to him for audience. But beware, the bargains of the Chaos Master are in keeping with the law of paradox, opposites and contradictions.
There's no other way of saving Tanith, you reply, sadly. I must summon the Chaos Master.
This isn't going to go well, you guys. Better tools or better clay. Well, if he literally asked for the greatest hands, great can be used as a way of saying large, so you gotta watch your wording with this guy. Immediately, you were standing in the court of the Chaos Master. The high walls ripple with light as the strange architecture of the Master's Hall changes constantly. In the center of the hall, upon an obsidian throne, is seated the Chaos Master himself, ruler of the realm of the Paradox. He makes a disturbing sight, a giant over 30 feet in height. His facial features and characteristics are in a state of constant flux, continually melting into new and hideous guises.
You glimpse dark and loathsome creatures, beasts and beings of indescribable horror, writhing within this awesome god. Yeah, he sounds pretty gross.
Welcome to the Master's Court, he bellows. Allow me to introduce my guests.
Slowly, a dark-robed figure walks into the hall. He wears a hood and carries a black staff. Following immediately behind is Tanith. She gives you a brave smile. Easier bellows, Chaos Master. Nice. He's bellowing like the bison. He bellows and the bison bellow back.
May I present the wizard, Greystar?
A deep dread stirs in your heart. Suddenly, the robed figure pulls back his hood to reveal your own face staring at you.
Welcome, brother,
says your twin.
I have long looked forward to this meeting.
The Chaos Master's braying laughter fills the hall as he watches the stunned expression on your face.
Are you not amused?
He roars. You study your identical twin opposite and sense an aura of evil. It is a creation of Shasarak, sent to thwart your final bid to claim the Moonstone. In the Shianti language, such a creature is known as a Jaksa, the spiritual apparition of one already living, a perversion of nature and a being of great evil. Without the human emotions of guilt, remorse, and sorrow, a Jaksa has no conscience or morals and is a passionless killer.
And now,
intones the Chaos Master, when the echo of his laughter has finally subsided.
Tell me what it is you seek.
Carefully, you weigh in your mind what you should ask. If you have the map and want her to be returned, turn to 20. I do have the map. If you don't have the map, and you want to ask for her to return, and how you... Oh no, that would be a shit show right there. Yeah, we have the map though. The Chaos Master agrees to your request, and Tanith comes running towards you. She looks at the Jaksa uncertainly, disturbed by his awesome presence. The Jaksa sneers at Tanith and looks back with eyes that burn with hatred. Now the Master tells you his terms. He demands that your request to be reunited with Tanith be extended to include the Jaksa. But the Jaksa is named Greystar, too. It bows, a sly smile playing across its lips. I don't like the sound of this. The Chaos Master has placed you in an impossible situation, as was his intention. You are being forced to take your enemy with you on your quest, the success of which he seeks to prevent. You and Tanith walk back to the Ethetron, the Jaksa close behind. With a smirk, he too squeezes into the little craft. As you rise into the air and steer towards the Moaning Mountain, you rack your brains for a way of ridding yourself of your enemy, standing at the far end of the craft and grinning maliciously at you. There is little you can do, for your attention is devoted to operating the controls that keep the Ethetron in flight. Your nerves are constantly on edge. The Jaksa is in an ideal position to bring the craft down in the writhing sea below, and you are plagued by the thought that the Jaksa can predict your every move. A large bank of storm clouds ahead spells trouble. The Jaksa has been silent for a long time, and you wonder if he has summoned an elemental storm against you. Alright, well... Fuck you, Prophecy. I'm gonna try Elementalism this time. I almost never ever get to use Elementalism.
I mean, I suspect it will somehow screw me over, as often is the case when you use any magic in these books. Immediately ahead, the bank of rolling cloud is fast transforming into a violent storm. Quickly, it surrounds the Ethetron. The Joxah has summoned against you the elementals that have served you so well in the past. You close your eyes and call out in the sibilant tongue of the elemental spirits. Within the depths of your trance, 4 figures stand before you, representing the principal elements of earth, air, fire, and water. Well, the obvious choice here is air. Fire would be fun just to check out, but I feel like we have to choose air here. Earth elemental be like, nothing I can do. Shit, there ain't no earth here. You can feel the presence of the air elementals that the Joxah has already summoned as they twist and coil around you. You must choose between summoning more winds to blow against the magical storm, or trying to master those that surround you. All to be the master of the wind. I feel like the only thing I'm thinking right now is which one of these is going to cost more willpower. I think I should master it, though, because if I summon my own, then that's a lot of wind blowing against other wind, and it makes the whole wind situation very chaotic, which would be very hard to fly a craft in. So I should try to master these winds and calm them the fuck down. Get them to ease their bellows. At the cost of 1 willpower point, you try to wrest control of the winds from the Joxah. Rigidly, he stands at the far end of the craft, testing his power against yours. The storm howls, and the little craft shakes and swerves wildly. The ferocious winds carry the ship along, but the Joxah still exerts control over the storm. Oh no. I don't like this, you guys. I have a bad feeling about this, but I'm going to spend another willpower point. You use another willpower point, but did I take that off already? No, I didn't. But this time you feel the balance of power shift in your favor. Before your enemy is able to pour extra force into his counterspell, you order the wind spirits away. At the abrupt change in the force of the wind, the Ethetron lurches violently, and as you struggle with the controls, the Joxah staggers backwards. Tanith seizes her chance, and rushing furiously, she runs headlong into the Joxah and heaves him over the rails. Good job, Tanith. This is Daziarn! You both give a triumphant shout of joy, and you quickly bring the Ethetron under control. Did I just win the book? As you draw closer to the moaning mountain, you soon locate the cavern in its side, and with some skillful maneuvering, you line up the ship with the yawning cavern mouth. Apparently that's... No, I don't think this is the end, right? I don't think there's only 300 in this book. No, okay. It's not the end. There was no final boss fight or anything either yet. You know I'm gonna have to fight that fucking Joxah, right? That's not the last we're gonna see of him. That's not the last we're gonna see of him. You know how I know? Because I've read any book ever. You steer the Ethetron along a dark tunnel in the mountain, just wide enough to accommodate the craft. An eerie moaning wind passes along the tunnel, and you remember why the moaning mountain is so called. You see light at the end of the tunnel, and as you approach, a shimmering curtain of water. This is the gateway to the Vale of Peace. You pass through the gate, past a shimmering waterfall, and into the foothills of a mountain range towards a lush green valley. You land the Ethatron, and you and Tanith disembark. Everywhere is a growing, verdant splendor. Yeah, you really should have, Saito. You really should have. The growing, verdant splendor. The tabernacle of splendor. The air is fresh and invigorating, and you suddenly realize that you have not eaten since you crossed the Shadow Gate. You mention this to Tanith, and she nods in agreement, pointing to the berries of a nearby bush. We found some good berries. You eat your fill of the delicious berries. Restore 2 endurance points due to their great nutritional value. Those are some highly nutritive berries. And here's Verdant Splendor, apparently. Kind of loses a lot when it's in black and white. I do have alchemy, yes. Your trained eye picks out an extremely rare and useful plant that is growing on the hillside. The Sonara, a flowering bush whose unripe buds have a restorative effect. Chewing one of these large yellow buds will restore 1 willpower point. What? You may pick up to 5 of these buds. Keep them in your herb pouch. If you have a pestle and mortar, which I've been carrying around this whole time, you may mix a preparation that will restore 5 willpower points with 1 dose, but you will need a vial in which to keep the potion. You can mix as many potions as you have vials. I have 2 vials. If I drink this potion of healing right now, I'll have 3 vials. 3 willpower potions would be sick. So let's drink this. That'll bring me back up to full health. Get rid of these empty vials. And we have 3 willpower potions. That is really nice. Cool. Nox! See, now that's the kind of nonsense, the kind of hacks that Nox comes up with. Infinite vials. I make a potion, I drink it. I now have another empty vial. I make a potion, I drink it. I now have another empty vial. I'll just keep making potions. And there's no upper cap on your willpower, so now my willpower is 100,000,000. It does stand to reason, though, that you could at least drink 1 while you're here. But I'm pretty sure that's not intended. I'm going to assume I can't make any more. Hypothetically, sure, I could drink one of these right now and then I'd have an empty vial, but that leads down a path that we can't go down. So we're stopping with those 3.
wow. They're really healing you up here. They're really hooking you up. There must be some heinous shit up ahead. Tanith points nearby to a clump of lomspur, a healing herb. Chew on a clump of the fresh lomspur to restore 4 endurance points. It doesn't say I can take it. Oh, wow, I do regret drinking that potion now. Because now I don't need that healing. Of course, I don't really regret it, because I'd rather have willpower potions, to be honest. When evening comes, you are still high on the sides of the valley. Lomspur gets you high. Far below, you can see a settlement, but rather than stumble in the dark, you decide to stay where you are and sleep in the warm, dry air. Give it to the spiritual cow that follows Greystar? Yeah. What the fuck? They're just giving me everything. This is like, hey, all the free stuff you've ever wanted. Have some free healing, have some free willpower, have some more free healing and willpower. The night passes without incident. You feel refreshed and revitalized by your rest. And you may restore 2 endurance and 1 willpower. Wow. Okay. They're being very generous here. As you move on to the low ground, a vague feeling of disquiet stirs inside you. It is a familiar feeling. Oh no. Alright, prophecy. Here we go. Your power of prophecy shows you what you feared most. Shasarax's Joxa. What a fucking surprise. Are we all super surprised right now? Your dark twin is somewhere close at hand, and there is terrible evil in his heart. The use of this magical power has cost you 1 willpower. I mean, it's kind of a waste. Obviously, I knew this guy was coming for us. I sense the white stirring. You come to a main road that crosses your path into the valley. It leads into a village, which you can see in the distance, hugging a small wood of squat trees. Strangely, there was a lot of smoke rising from the village. Oh, that's not good. As you draw closer to the village, you realize it is on fire. The occupants are running backwards and forwards with buckets of water, but they are fighting a losing battle. Try to help, or move on and find other occupants that can tell you. No, I'm going to try to help. Maybe I can use elementalism here to deal with this. You and Tanith run into the burning village. The effect is dramatic. He's back! You hear someone scream. They cower before you, their eyes bright with fear. I mean you no harm. I want to help, you cry, but all remain silent, regarding you with horrified stares. How can I help? You shout. A rock thuds at your feet by way of reply. You cannot see who threw it. Alright, I'm going to use elementalism to help the villagers. You close your eyes and begin to chant. The veiled villagers flinch visibly. Convinced that you mean to hurt them, you carry on regardless. At the cost of 1 willpower point, you cause it to rain. The fire is raging quite heavily, and you are doubtful that the shower you have raised is of sufficient intensity to quench the fire. You prepare to throw another willpower point into the spell, but stop suddenly as the villagers give a great gasp. A cold evil throbs at your back. Oh no, throbbing evil. You spin round to face the Joxa.
Why do you waste your energies so?
The Joxa inquires.
On these simpletons and peasants.
And why have you shown yourself? You ask.
These people now know that I did not burn their village. Surely you hoped that they would cast me out without telling me where the gate to the next realm can be found. Your unimpressive display of weatherworking has sufficed.
He snorts derisively.
You have saved the world, and all live happily ever after.
He sneers sarcastically.
But other dangers await you.
So saying, the Joxa disappears. Well, I don't like this guy. The people of the Vale emit a great cheer. Fires throughout the village are already beginning to dwindle without the Joxa there to stoke them afresh. The
The village elders ask if you would like to stay with them as honored guests at a great feast. Yes. God damn, they're seriously just giving out a ludicrous amount of healing here. This is unprecedented. You spend another day and night with these happy, simple people. The beauty of the vibrant valley is a welcome relief from the hardships of your quest, however worthy the cause. The time spent with the people of the Vale has a beneficial effect, restoring 4 endurance and 2 willpower. Boy, they're just giving it to you. Tanith radiates a happiness and gaiety that you have seldom seen before. Alright, see you in a bit, Amaranth. You ask about the gate that leads to the realm of the Moonstone, and the elders tell you of the Silver Lake. That night, you and Tanith are led up into the mountains to a large lake. They tell you to board the Ethetron and fly above the beautiful lake. Then, when the moon has climbed to its highest point in the sky, you must fly into the water, for the lake is the gateway to the realm of the Moonstone, and the light and power of the moon its key. Oh, that's pretty cool. You do as they instruct, and with a wave you dive towards the Silver Lake. But as you break the surface, it is not water that washes over you, but awe and wonder. And video paused. Keep watching. You are soaring through a starlit sky, myriad tiny pinpoints of light shining above. Tanith clutches your arm and points below at a swirling gaseous incandescence, lit by sporadic bursts of violet lightning. Suddenly, a huge webbed claw, as tall as a house, with green shining skin, rises up out of the mists. Dude, if your combat skill and willpower is less than 15, that's sad at this point. That's gotta be auto-death. Or at least some serious getting your ass kicked nonsense. What have you been doing? Well, hypothetically, you could have actually rolled your combat skill and got a 0 and had only a 10 combat skill. You'd be so fucked, though, if you had a 10 combat skill. You couldn't win any damn combat with a 10 combat skill. And hypothetically, you could have rolled minimum willpower points and not done the other 2 books, so you only would have had like 20 willpower. So, but even if you had the minimum, 20 willpower and 10 combat skill, you would still need to be down 15 willpower at this point after getting all these free willpower heals. So you still really would have had to fuck up pretty badly. Total is 15 or more. The webbed claw rakes the side of the Ethetron, but your swift reflexes save you from certain death. As the monstrous limb sinks back into the mist, Tanith points to a crack that has appeared in the glass dome that contains the power that drives the craft. The Ethetron starts to lose height, sinking slowly into the swirling mystery below. Suddenly there is a hideous roar, and 7 eyeless heads on long, slender necks wave before you like monstrous flowers in a breeze. Nope, I'm noping this. 20 feet tall, with teeth like razors, they sway this way and that, blindly seeking you out. A giant head sways barely a few feet away, and a yawning mouth bears down on you. Oh, it's just tired. We just need to help it get some rest. It's yawning. Sleepy monster. Yeah, I'm noping this thing. We're gonna maneuver. We're gonna maneuver between... Of course, our ship is, like, broken. Maybe I should staff this thing. No, that's not gonna lead to good things. Alright, let's just maneuver. The grayish mist in the Ethetron's glass dome is slowly seeping through the crack in the glass. The creatures of the mist writhe and gyre in their hunger, and you struggle desperately with the controls as the ship sinks lower and lower, becoming an easier target for the hideous beasts. You swerve among them like a tiny insect flying through a forest of swaying trees. Once again, combat skill plus willpower. The Ethetron rocks and lurches as you try to steer her in tight curves, and turns to avoid the looming creatures of the mist. It is hard to control, and the cracked glass dome of the craft glows feebly. Miraculously, you pass beyond the monsters. You look back to see them disappearing into the mist, and you realize that they are more like plants, fixed and rooted, but able to attack anything within range. Yeah, that was kind of obvious. If you have duct tape and wish to use it on the cracked orb, turn to 211. Right. 211, armed robbery. Or aggravated robbery, depending on what jurisdiction you're in. That's what I was arrested on. So when I was in county jail, one of my nicknames was 211. Fun facts. Anxiously, you search around, but there is no indication that this realm contains any peculiar features. Then a strange symmetrical shape, quite unlike a star, catches your eye. You steer the crippled Ethetron towards the object, and, when you are close enough to recognize it, you give a gasp of joy. It is a Trianon. Alright, they're just making shit up right now. Hey, Splode, good to see ya. It is a Trianon, a creation of the Chianti. Instinctively you know that this must be the place where the Moonstone is hidden. Suddenly, a fearsome shriek distracts your attention from the ancient Chianti tomb. The starlit sky is now full of terrible creatures. Of course it is. Oh no, it's the bird from the cover! It's the birds from the cover! We've reached the cover art, folks. We have reached the cover art. And hopefully my gray star is not looking that fucking bewildered. He's like, eh! he's like, eh! At first, they are distant specks, but they are moving towards you at high speed, and soon you are able to distinguish details. You give an involuntary gasp. The creatures have oily, purple-black skins with slickly matted feathers. Their eyes protrude like two swollen bruises from the sides of their heads, and their cry is hoarse like the ringing of a cracked bell. The Ethetron moves sluggishly as the very last of the gray mist seeps from its dome. You turn the ship towards the Trianon, but the malformed birds, if birds they are gaining on you. Disgusting birds. Attack a chaos bird with a staff, wait for them to draw near. I'm feeling elementalism. Elementalism has served us well so far. You should deduct 1 willpower point. Okay, footnote. I'll play your little game. You close your eyes and send out the power of your thought to the elemental plane. A raging wind blows around you, whipping the birds into confusion so that they are unable to attack. Unfortunately, you are now unable to manipulate the damaged craft and find yourself affected as badly as the Chaos Birds. Alright, mistakes were made. It's Chaos Bird time, children. Dang, 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 dang. Chaos Bird time for boys and girls. A sudden gust sends you hurtling into the side of the Trianon, and the sound of a collision fills your ears. Random number plus your willpower. Okay, if you got less than 9 right now, you're super fucked. That's definitely death. The force of the impact sends you tumbling through the air. Then a hand grips yours. Tanith has caught you. She has a firm grip on the Trianon and soon pulls you up.
How do we get inside?
She asks. You reach out towards a Chianti rune carved deep into the wall. A door appears and opens slowly. You enter the Trianon and prepare to fulfill your quest. But not really, because this isn't the final passage we're sending us. First, we gotta fight the Josiah. You are standing at the start of a long corridor. There's been barely any combat in this one. I've only been in one combat this whole time. Now, I know there was some more things that could have been combat, but I've only been in one, the whole book. There are more than 100 doorways leading from this passage. Explore the corridor. You enter a door. To your surprise, you and Tanith find yourselves standing in a circular chamber filled with milky white light. Your heart lifts when you recognize that the source of the light is the Moonstone itself.
So, you found it at last,
says a voice behind you. It is the Josiah. The Moonstone kind of looks like an egg.
I will take what is mine,
he says. He reaches out to take the Moonstone, a greedy gleam in his eyes. You have seconds in which to act. Well, I don't want him to get the thing, so I'm going to attack him. Fuck!
Now I have you,
he says with a snarl. He raises his staff to meet your attack, and there is a blinding clash of magical fire that fills the room with light. No, Greystar, Tanith shouts. Do not fight him. Here's what I would love. I would love it if you win the combat, it fucking insta-kills you. Because, oh, you killed the Josiah and thus you killed yourself. Ha ha ha. Insta-death for winning. Dude, you win the book if you lose the combat. Since you know there's 350 sections, you can kind of metagame that. You win if you lose, and you probably lose. I'm not actually turning to this for real. I just want to look at it real quick. Yep, insta-kill. Insta-kill if you actually beat him. That's hilarious. Okay, fuck, that is some Ian Page bullshit. Some Joe Deaver bullshit. Well, I'm not going to intentionally lose the combat. I'm going to stop fighting at any time. I'm going to stop fighting right now. The Josiah snatches the Moonstone, and with a triumphant yell, turns to face you, brandishing his staff menacingly.
Prepare to die, wizardling,
says the Josiah viciously. You raise your staff, ready to fight for possession of the Moonstone. Suddenly, Tanith stays your hand, begging you not to fight.
Something terrible will happen if you fight this creature,
she says imploringly.
Greystar, I sense it.
I refuse to fight, and I win the book. Triumphantly, the Josiah deals a killing blow. You feel a searing pain tear through your body, but miraculously you are not slain. The Moonstone, instrument of judgment and truth, has made a reality of Shasarak's mockery of you. In killing you, the Josiah has killed itself. With a howl, the Josiah dissolves into black shadows and returns to the spirit realm from which it came. Yeah, it beefs you up so you can fight it and then kills you if you win. Isn't that crazy? Who designs these fucking books? With a thrill of anticipation, you take up the Moonstone. It flares, as if in recognition, at the touch of your hand. It glows with a warm, familiar feeling as it nestles in the palm of your hand. Tanith's eyes are wild and shining with triumph. You have fulfilled your pledge and completed the quest. Almost. Armed with the might of the Moonstone, you now possess the only known power that could throw down the evil Witch King, Shasarak. But that is another story, and the day is yet to come. The final conflict in your fight against the Shadowkeen Empire is concluded in Book 4 of the Greystar Saga, entitled War of the Wizards. And that is what we're going to check out next time when we do Greystar. I feel like this one was kind of lazy and kind of short. Am I wrong? How long did this one actually last? I want to see some page counts. This just has section length. It doesn't have page count. Maybe I skipped a bunch of stuff by my choices, but this feels like there wasn't much to this one. But still fun. Still a good story. We're ramping up for the final part of the saga. War of the Wizards. Alright, well that's going to do it for this episode. If you're watching on YouTube, that's the end of this video. So thank you for watching. This has been Josiah Plays The World of Lone Wolf Gamebooks, Book 3, Beyond the Nightmare Gate.